Hey guys, welcome to Cape and Cowl Cafe. I'm Nemo, and today we're going to be talking about Dynamite's brand new Ben 10 comic book. If you guys enjoy the video at any point today, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, but let's hop right in. Alright, so after the long wait, we finally have our hands on Absolute Ben 10, and it is not very good. Now, I don't even think that the story in this book is that bad. If anything, it's just more uncomfortable because it deviates from the show and everyone expects that first episode to be laid out a certain way. What drags this book down so far is the art. The artwork is just terrible, okay? Every single character is really hard to look at. This is not a pretty book, I will tell you that. Okay, so the issue begins with this scene on Vilgax's ship. At least I'm assuming this is Vilgax. It's kind of hard to tell because he just looks like a giant tumor. But what's interesting here is that he's not seeking out the Omnitrix because he wants to use it. It looks like he's looking for the Omnitrix because it's the last weapon that can challenge him. You know, he feels threatened by it, which is an interesting change. You know, I don't really think that matters that much. So far so good. This is all feeling very familiar. All right, next we see Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Max at the campsite. Gwen and Ben are bickering as usual. This is all, looking great so far. I'm ready to get into the story. This is going to be awesome. Oh my gosh. What am I looking at here? What is going on with Gwen's face? The art in this book is so bad. Anyway, this conversation kind of plays out the way you'd expect it to. They kind of modernize some of the dialogue, so Ben and Gwen are talking about rage baiting and they're fighting over electronics, and Grandpa Max is like, well, we need to get rid of screen time and live out in the woods, and it's fine. I kind of expected this, kind of dialogue for this book. It is what it is. All right, now this is where the first major change happens. It looks like the military is looking for Ben and the Omnitrix, and that's something that doesn't really happen in the show. It's just Ben alone in the woods, and the military isn't a factor until a lot later in the show. So this is interesting. I welcome this kind of change. It would be interesting to see how Ben would take on the military as well as Vilgax's army. It just kind of adds more stakes to the story. I'm totally fine with this. All right, so the next page plays out pretty much exactly like it does in the show. Ben wanders off because he's mad at Grandpa and Gwen. A meteor strikes the Earth. Huge crater forms, glowing green object in it. Ben checks it out, and the Omnitrix latches itself to his wrist. Great. Now, I really don't like the way the Omnitrix looks in this book. The original Omnitrix in the show just looked so cool. I loved the classic black and white color scheme. This just looks like a bunch of weird alien vines or wires. It's too much. It looks too creepy. Anyway, so Ben gets the watch, and the military mobilizes immediately. Like, they are already at the crater within seconds of it hitting the ground. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, I'm totally fine with the military being here in this book. Like I said before, I think it could add a new, interesting antagonist for Ben to take on. It makes sense. Something crash lands, like some piece of powerful alien technology. The military is going to be all over that. It makes sense to me. Now, if I'm being honest, I've been fine with everything up to this point. I was fine with Vilgax. I was fine with the military showing up, Ben finding the watch. It's all been fine. Besides the art and maybe some of the cringy dialogue, I have no problems with the story until here. Ben is wandering through the woods, and then a robot bear appears. The bear begins to attack Ben, and he accidentally activates the Omnitrix and transforms into, well, it's not forearms because this isn't my forearms. What the hell am I looking at? Like, look at this one panel right here. What the hell is this? I honestly don't understand how anyone can defend the art in this book. Compare this to the classic transformation scenes that we have from the show. There is no excuse for this. I honestly don't understand what they were thinking with this. Forearms had a perfectly fine design in any one of the shows. Just pick one. I understand that this is a new continuity. You want your set of aliens to stand out. You want to do something new, but this isn't it, okay? So anyway, Ben fights off the bear as forearms, and then the Omnitrix begins to time out, and he transforms back into Ben. And then immediately transforms again into Heat Blast. So I guess this Omnitrix doesn't really have a timeout function. He can just infinitely transform as many times as he wants. Sure, whatever. That flaw in the Omnitrix was really good for creative storytelling in the show. It was a lot like Spider-Man's web shooters, where he would run out of web fluid and he would have to solve problems a different way. It was a really interesting limitation where Ben was put in situations where he would have to either rely on his human form or his friends to save him, or, you know, just, I don't know. This feels wrong to me. And also, Heat Blast is fine. The design here is a lot better than Forearms, but it's still not, it's not the original. The original has a very special place in a lot of people's hearts, and this isn't it, you know? And the weird thing is, in some of these panels, Ben actually looks pretty good as Heat Blast. Like, it looks just like a realistic version of the classic design, especially here and here, but in other panels, it just looks so bad. It's so bad. And where's the red? There's supposed to be more red on Heat Blast. This just looks black and yellow. It doesn't work. So anyway, Ben's Heat Blast transformation attracts the army because of all the fire and the trees burning down and stuff. So they show up, but Ben has mysteriously disappeared. Max is still out looking for him, and then we end the issue with a good look at Vilgax. And he looks even worse from the front. Like before, I thought he just looked like a giant lump of tumors from the back, but he was just shadowed then. So, you know, I gave it a pass. Maybe he'll look cooler, you know, with the full look. But no, he is just a giant lump of tumors. Now, I am a massive Ben 10 fan, all right? Like, besides Batman, growing up, Ben 10 was my guy. I know all of the aliens, I knew all of the species names, I've seen all of the shows multiple times over, so it's just really disappointing to see this comic be this bad. And before you say anything like, oh, but you're not the target audience. Yes, I am. What are you talking about? This comic was made to appease fans of the show. The fans of the original show are my age, all right? I'm in my mid-20s. This comic was made for me. So, I like just using that as an excuse for terrible dialogue and really poor artwork. No, it's not gonna fly, all right? Like, I'm looking at some of the other alien designs, and I genuinely think that their thought process was make everyone look like a walking ball sack. Like, look at Gray Matter. His head looks like two testicles with a veiny freaking nutsack head. Like, it's so ugly. And Cannonbolt, what the hell is that? Like, I'm looking at all of these alien designs, and I don't think there is a single one that I think looks cool. They all just look gross. And I understand, if you want to modernize Ben 10 and make him more gritty and, you know, more palatable for an adult audience, you can still do that without making everything look disgusting. Like, I don't know, this was just a huge letdown. So overall, I don't think that this book is the worst. Like, the story's not that bad. Sure, they're changing some things from the show, and I can respect that, you know? But the artwork and the dialogue, it's not great. So, yeah, I probably will not be reading the rest of this series. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it all, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, and drop in the comments down below what you thought of the new Ben 10 comic. Let's talk about it. But yeah. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.